In this video, we're going to use more algebra to evaluate limits. In this case, we're going to use something called the conjugate. All right, so when dealing with rationals and limits, most of the time we want to factor and cancel out. But it's not always going to be a case where you have a rational where you can factor something out. So there's one more trick we can have in order to help us evaluate these. All right, and these are going to be some important facts for us to know. All right, the first thing is that if you multiply two expressions where the only difference is one's a minus sign and one's a plus sign, you get their difference of squares. So we just square the first term, subtract when we square the second term. All right, the second thing we need to remember is if you take a square root and you square it, those cancel out and you just get x. Both those things are going to combine for when we're doing these types of problems. So basic algebra facts, we're just going to use them for this calculus thing. All right, so let's say I want to evaluate this limit. Hopefully by now, you know the first thing you should always try to do if you're evaluating a limit is try to plug in the number. So what happens if I plug in -1? Square root of -1 plus 2 minus 1 plus 1. -1 plus 2 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. You get 0 over 0. So 0 over 0 is always a sign that you could do something and cancel something out and hopefully find a limit. It's not always the case, but 0 over 0 is a kind of clue that, okay, I can try to do something to find out the value of this limit. In this case, what we're going to do is use that opposite, turns into a difference of squares things, and we're going to do the opposite of this top. So square root of x plus 2. Instead of a minus sign, we're going to put the opposite plus 1. And we'll show why this is helpful in a second. All right, but because this is a fraction I'm dealing with, I have to multiply the top and the bottom of the fraction by the same thing, then multiply the bottom as well. All right, so now this whole expression is the limit's still there. Haven't plugged in or evaluated it left yet. On the top, because I'm multiplying the same things, but the only difference is one has a minus sign and one has a plus sign, I get a difference of their squares. So I take the first thing, which is the square root of x plus 2, and I square it. And do the subtract, take the second thing, which is 1, and I square it. On the bottom, I just get these two things being multiplied. Plus 1. Now we can do a bit of simplifying because we have that rule that says if you square a square root, the square root just goes away. So on the front of that fraction, the square root of x plus 2 squared, the square root and the square cancel, and I just get x plus 2. 1 squared is 1 on the bottom. And then x plus 2 minus 1, if I combine like terms, that is x plus 1. And now you can see something nice happens. The top simplified really nicely to x plus 1. And we already have this x plus 1 on the bottom. So we can cancel those out. So by using this multiplication trick, we can cancel those out. And we get 1 on the top. And whenever you cancel everything out, you get a 1 down to 0. Square root of x plus 2 plus 1 on the bottom. And we've seen before, whenever you cancel everything out in an expression, now you just try to plug in your value again. So I plug in my limit. We saw before that square root simplifies to 1, and that's 1/2. All right, so that's my final answer, is just 1/2. Yeah. So I did this all without much explanation about why I was doing it. So let's talk about why I did the things I did. So the first thing is, I know I have 0 over 0, so I need something to cancel out. Well, it's going to be a lot easier to cancel out an x plus 1 than this square root thing that's happening on top. So I want to get rid of this square root thing and see if anything happens. Well, I get rid of a square root by squaring it. And how can I get this square to be squared? If I use this trick up here, it's always going to square the square root. So by knowing this fact in the top left, if I multiply by the same thing with the opposite sign, I'm going to get this square root squared here. So that's my trick to kind of get rid of this square root and see if anything nice happens. And because 0 over 0 was at the start, I know something nice will happen because 0 over 0 means there's kind of something in common on the top and bottom. All right. The other thing you might be confused about why I did was I multiplied the top out because that's really the thing I'm focusing on, but I did not multiply the bottom out. I didn't FOIL out the bottom, and that's because I want to get rid of this x plus 1. If I were to multiply this out, then the x plus 1 would be kind of interacting with other stuff, but by keeping that x plus 1 separate, I'm able to see when it cancels out. So the only thing you actually want to multiply by is this factor on the top to get rid of the square root. And this thing here is called the conjugate of the top. It's the same thing, which is the opposite sign. So if there's a minus sign, you put a plus sign. The plus sign, you put a minus sign. All right, so the conjugate of the expression is the same expression with the opposite sign. So I had x minus 2, its conjugate is x plus 2. So I just change the minus to a plus. 3 minus the square root of x, its conjugate, change the minus to a plus. Square root of x plus 4, change the plus to a minus. All right, that's the conjugate. When I multiply these things together, I'm going to get that difference of squares situation, and square roots go away. All right, so what about this one? If I try to evaluate this function at 9, 9 minus 9 is 0. Square root of 9 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. So I get 0 over 0 if I were to try to evaluate this. So I have to use some trick. I can't see how to factor this, so my next thing is pretty much whenever you see a square root, think the conjugate. All right, so I'm going to multiply by the conjugate, which is the same thing with the opposite sign. Now my limit is going to become... All right, notice on the top, the one that was not the square root, I just want to keep these separate. So I want to keep the x minus 9 and the square root separate. On the bottom, because they're actually the conjugates, I actually want to multiply those out. I'm going to get the square root of x squared minus 3 squared. Oops, squared, not cubed. Right, and what is this going to simplify to? The square root of x squared, the square roots cancel. 3 squared is 9. And you can see that because we didn't multiply the top out, this x minus 9 cancels out with that x minus 9. This whole expression becomes square root of x plus 3. And now that I cancel something out, now I evaluate my limit by plugging in the number. So the limit notation is going to go away because I actually plugged in the number. And this is going to give me 6. All right, so when you recognize the square roots are in your expression and you get 0 over 0, that's your clue to use the conjugate. Go ahead and try this one on your own. It's really similar to the first one we did. Figure out how to use this expression. All right, I'll let you try it on your own, and then I'll show you the answer in 3, 2, 1. And you can see the steps to get 1/2 as your final answer. So we see the square root. We see if we were to plug in -3, you get 0 over 0. So that tells you use the conjugate. On the top, when you get the conjugate, the square root goes away, and that simplifies to x plus 3. And hopefully you didn't multiply out the bottom because you want to keep those separate, so this x plus 3 cancels. Then once everything cancels, you plug in your negative. You can see when you plug it in, that limit notation goes away because you actually did the act of evaluating the limit by plugging it in. And then you simplify to get 1/2. All right, so important things for this one, always try to plug in the limit value first. All right, in this case, it didn't happen, but sometimes they'll make a limit look complicated, but you just plug in the number and you get an answer, and there's no extra work you have to do. But whenever you see a square root in a fraction, like all the examples in this video, I think about the conjugate. How can you get rid of that square root?